Hello, I'm Dr. David Stanton, headmaster at Oakdale Academy. Welcome to this episode of Paideia Ponderings. I want to talk just for a couple of minutes specific to the question of why should churches in particular support the notion of Christian education. Simply put, a lot of the ideas that are going around in culture, the concept of truth being relative or truth being something that we can change, something that I think is infecting the churches. There's a study recently by the Barna Group where a good deal, 21% of respondents said that they hadn't even thought of whether truth is absolute or if it was relative. Where almost 40% found that it was not absolute, that being truth. With that concept in mind, I would ask churches, I'd ask youth pastors to really consider, is what you experience on your Wednesday nights or your Sunday nights or your Sunday mornings or times that you meet with your youth individually, the struggles that they have, the struggles that the youth are facing today in this darkening world, is it not just reflective of what they experience 7 hours a day, 180 school days every single year? Think about those numbers. Half of every year, out of a 365-day year, half of every year is spent in school, 7 hours a day. And when you do a little bit more digging, you can see that most of a student's waking hours are spent either to and from school, at school itself, and then you have to add on sports, clubs, extracurricular activities. Such little time could potentially be devoted to defending the faith, and not just even to defending the faith. Such little time could be devoted to learning about one's faith. Friends, it's no mistake that a state-run, a government-run institution is not going to necessarily in any way, shape, or form support true biblical Christianity. That's not their role. As a matter of fact, quite the opposite is occurring. A lot of the moral absolutes that we hold true at places like Oakdale, where we stand firm in biblical truth, are not those things that are celebrated, not those things that are held dear when it comes to a government-run school. Quite the opposite. Government-run schools talk about the modern version of diversity and inclusion and truth being relative. What is true to me doesn't necessarily have to be true to you. What is true for me today could be different and not true tomorrow. If I wish to change my gender, I can do that because that's what's true to me anymore. It wasn't that many years ago that concept would have seemed foreign to so many people. But since God was removed from the public square in the 50s, the 60s, and throughout the next few decades, a lot of the agreed upon cultural standards that were synonymous with our moral absolutes have been lost. And so I ask again to our youth pastors, to our lead pastors, our senior pastors, where is the moral absolute and the things that you struggle with, the things that your teens struggle with? Why not consider supporting the concept of Christian education for schools that are truly biblically sound? When you look at their statement of faith, you look at the things that they teach, how they teach them, and strongly consider encouraging parents to check those things out. Now, the disclaimer, of course, I'm the headmaster of a Christian school. But whether it's Oakdale Academy or whether it's any other biblically sound Christian school, I would rather have a student that is a Bible-believing Christian or from a Bible-believing Christian family be given all the tools to understand and then defend a faith that they choose to accept, than send them to a place that would teach them the opposite of that. And so pastors, elders, I ask you to truly consider what you are doing to shepherd your flock in a way to point them and our future, the future leaders of our churches, how are they working to ensure that Christianity from a biblically sound perspective is continued and carried on in the way that's presented in God's Word. Thanks for listening to this. If you have any questions or comments, I encourage you to send them. You can check us out at www.oakdaleacademy.com, or you can email us directly, info@oakdaleacademy.com. Thank you again for listening, and enjoy your day.